Good afternoon. This is Christine Cherry, the lead designer at KT Dragonfly and the Ears Have It. Welcome, Peyote Stitch pattern people, and anybody else that has this link. I am so excited to be here, and I hope you're happy with me. I know that there's two people that were waiting as we went live, and if you want to say something, go ahead and click on the right hand side in the chat and say hi to everybody that's going to be here and say hi to me. I'm really excited to be here and I hope you learned something and asked some questions. And I want this to be really fun and interactive for everybody. Now, I don't have much of a hand here that I can type, but I am going to be watching the comments and you can hear me, hopefully. Um, I would like if anyone is out there right now, could you please let me know if you can hear me? I'm just going to leave that there so anyone knows when they log in that I'm asking and I want everybody to be able to hear this. Please let me know if at any time you lose the connection. I wanted to give a shout out to Stiller Drone, who is doing the music. And I'm going to turn this down a little bit because it does get a little loud. They're an amazing band. I do a lot of mu- uh, um, creative beating to them. And they're just so inspirational. Music is kind of very important to the creative process. And I'm sure that everyone out there has a process that they do that with. So, you know what? I'm going to click the mic here and just we are going because this isn't actually telling me if anyone can hear me. And I'm hoping you can. Really, really hoping here. I'm going to look at these settings here, make sure. Okay, well, it does say that we're live. I'm going to cross my fingers and hope, but I'm just going to get started here. Uh, I've got a lot of products. This is the Peyote Stitch Pen Wrap. And in case anyone can't hear me, I'm going to show you what the pen wrap looks like, the finished one. It was this one right here. And I'm going to turn the music down again a little bit. Oops, I actually turned down, I took it backwards there, pardon me. Okay, there we go. So that's going to be good. I'm going to check my mic here. Oh, I really wish you'd tell me if anyone can hear. Okay, so this was my prototype right here to this. And as you can see on this one, the body, it was kind of, well, it looks pretty good under the camera, but this body was way too light. So I decided to go ahead and go with a darker color for this. So I'm going to just put that aside. And I'm going to check in and see if we actually have people are viewing this. Let's see. Bear with me a second here. I can't tell. And I'm not sure that anyone is here right now. Oh, there are three people watching. Okay. If anyone could please do me a favor here, please send me a little message, the right hand side in the chat window, if you can see it. Let me know if you can. And if you can't, if you're having any problems and I can't tell from here, then contact me on Facebook. Okay, so I'm going to go back over here and watch on the stream. Okay, so we got a lot of goodies here, a lot of beautiful tiny little beads, and I want to start out with these Mayuki silver lined emerald green beads. And I have a couple of colors here. This is slightly shade different from this green. This is like a Christmas green. And this turquoise kind of matches this color here. It looks about the same, so you can see. And I didn't have time to pull my Swarovski crystals. I have a lot of them, and they're amazing. They're so beautiful. If you get a chance to use Swarovski crystals, I highly, super, just absolutely, you have to do it because they are the most beautiful things ever. And they're also going to be, well, they're discontinued right now. They won't sell them anymore to crafters, which is a shame. Um, okay, I'm going to show you these wonderful tiny little. These are not Swarovski crystals. These actually are Czech glass, and they're really tiny, but they're good for the proportion of the size here for what we're doing. Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to clean these up a little bit because I actually want to start with putting a base of a picot stitch. Does everyone know what a picot stitch is? I'll walk through this so you can actually see it. But if anyone out there knows what it is or they don't know and they want to learn, you know, tell me. Let me know. And I love the feedback. Okay. So let's see here. Now I got a lot of colors that I just love. And I don't know really which ones. I mean, I think I wanted to start with the greens here, but I'm not certain now because I have some other incredible colors. I have this, which is, if you can see it, it's kind of an orange. And there's a couple of different versions. This is flat. This is a flat color. And this one here is your galvanized color, which if you do a lot of peyote stitching, you'll recognize what galvanized metallic is. So I think for this, if I wanted to stand out, I'll go with the one of the brighter ones. Now I do have some other colors here. I have these ones. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this under the camera there. Pardon me if I if I go in and out. Um, these are galvanized yellow gold, which isn't too expensive. It was 450 when I bought it about 6 years ago. Japanese seed beads here. Um, the number is PF, as in Frank 551, and it's a permanent finish. Permanent finishes are really good. Mikey started doing those a lot because the color was fading off of a lot of them. And I ran across that when I was doing some bracelets, some peyote stitch bracelets. So, oh boy, I don't know what to start here. What do you guys think? Do you think that I should do the oranges or one of the orange? Or should I go ahead and do the gold? What do you think? Do you have uh, any preference? What do you think would look better in your experience of beading? Let me know, and I'll give you a minute while I'm waiting to see if other people come in. And I want to check the notifications on this post to make sure people can still hear me. I'm actually hearing the feed and the feedback on my microphone. So, well, on my speaker. So I think I'm good there. I really hope I'm good. Okay, hang on a second. Okay, I'm actually not seeing anything as far as anyone wanting a preference here. So I'm going to go ahead with the orange because there's not really too much in here as far as this coppery color. Now, I was thinking about this color because the eye was another one of the things that I changed was this little eye right here. And I changed that color in the eventual pen I did. And see, I changed it to orange because I don't know, I thought it looked better and I really wanted to use that orange really badly, which is also the orange that's along the wing here. So I think I'm going to put this aside for now. It's going to go bye bye. And I'm going to pull out some of, well, I think an edge should be pretty. I don't want it to be too garish, but these are so tiny. They're the galvanized, shiny color, or finish, I should say, of orange. So I'm going to start off doing a picot stitch. A picot stitch is something that you can put on the edge of anything. It doesn't have to be just a pen wrap. It doesn't have to be just peyote stitched items. It can be any piece that you're doing to go right along the edge here and here. I'm not sure I'm going to do it on this side because this side I want things to drape. I might just to hang the dagger beads from, and I'll show you what dagger beads are in a minute. So I didn't get a chance to put more thread on here, so I'm just going to take this thread from the end of my bead work. When I finish this, I left a long tail, and you should always leave a long tail. Trust me, it works pretty well. Um, and you get in trouble if you don't. So I'm going to take my needle. Now, this is a unique needle. I love this. And I ran across these recently. See if I can put this up against here and you can see what's unique about it. See, there's a big eye in there. And that eye is wonderful, especially for people that are older like me. And the ones I got, well, they came from this company called Venus Needles. Actually, yeah, that's the trademark. It's from the Bead Buddy, and I know a lot of people know them. And I got him through Joann's in the United States. I ordered more of them on Amazon.com, and this is Beadalon, a collapsible eye needle. Excuse me, these are wonderful. And if you have hard time seeing, they're fantastic. You really should use them. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and thread this in our Beadalon. Go share. Okay, for watching. Thank you guys. If you are beaders with a store, please shout out and you can put your link in the chat. I'd love to shop from you. I buy patterns as well as make them. Okay, so for the picot stitch here, take one of your beads. Actually, you're going to take 3 of these tiny, tiny beads. And when I say tiny, I'm not kidding. These are 15s. These are not 11s. And 11s are what we typically do, or at least what I typically do pen wraps with. And I am a little bit crazy. I had thought about making a pen wrap with a 15 bead, size 15, because you could get so much more detail, but it would take a long time. And I'm not sure how many people would really want that. But if it's something that you would like, let me know. I'm pretty flexible. Okay, so you get your 3 beads on, and you're going to go through. There's a stitch here. Let's see if I can show it right there. That loop between the beads. There, right there. I hope you can all see this. And I'm going to run this through. And there we go. See how it makes a little pyramid, which is the coolest thing ever. When I found this stitch, I was so excited because nobody really wants, something that's just kind of plain like that. If they are an advanced beater and they want to learn, a way to embellish it. So that's how you do the basic. I'm going to put this on, do a little more. Okay. And then you just go through the next loop between the beads. Okay, that's the letter K, and the letter C stands for my name, Christine Cherry, and it's kind of my gallery. It's not where I sell. Where I sell is on Etsy, and if you look up K C Dragonfly, the letter K, letter C, Dragonfly, one word, or second word, then you're going to find me in a store called Casey Dragonfly. And that's where I have this pattern. And when I'm done with this piece, I'm going to put it for sale there. Let's see. This is a tricky one. But then so are dragonflies. They fly all over the place, and it's really hard to photograph them, as my husband found out. But he got really good at it. Actually, so did I. That's an idea for another video, another time. Okay, let's see here. Okay, well, actually, to get a different effect, if you do the every other stitch instead of just going like that, instead of going that and that, you get something that's wider that could still work. It's a thought. But in this one, I want the stitches to be close, so I'm going to go back through. Interesting, you're not coming out. Hang on. That knot must be really tight. Okay, that's not coming through. I'm going to leave it then, because this is just a demonstration. And I'm going to go through the next stitch here. And let's see what happens. Actually, it would be good if I had the beads attached first, right? Okay. Okay, I'm just going to pull this out and get those beads attached. Okay, here we go. Let's put 3 again. There we go. Okay, I'm going to get this so you can see it. There we go. Okay. Let's see how this works out. Oh, did I? Oh, the thread came off again. This is, well, anyway, you can see how it bunches up like that. And it's going to make a point, which is really neat. So I'm going to pull this through. I know it's going to rip out. So I'm going to do this again. Try this one more time. This is a little riddled with production problems here. I apologize for that. I just want to get a couple of stitches done so I can show the other beads and the possibilities that you can add on to the edges of your wonderful tiny little work here. This does have to be pretty tight because these stitches at the edges of the peyote stitch rows are really tight and the thread has to pull through. And ideally, it should just all be one piece and not um, knotted. And it's small enough you could run enough thread to make that happen. Okay, so I'm just going to run this again. Let's cross our fingers. Okay. You have to be careful not to split the thread. That's tricky. Okay. Okay, I know what's going on here. I think I did split the thread and it's catching. Or I have to pull the beads all the way through. There. Success. Okay, so you have your little bump. And that's what it looks like right there, which is awesome. Okay, I'm going to run through another one. And a couple of it go smooth enough. And then I'll get to the other pieces, the other beads that you can put on here and layer on for a really nice kind of a dripping effect. Oh, I did it again. Can you believe it? I didn't put my beads on. Okay, that can get tucked in. I'm not worried about that. So let's put 3 more beads on. Actually, you know what? I don't think it's going to be very smooth if I do that. I'm going to rip out this one stitch I did if I can. Yes. Okay, we'll get those 3 beads on and then I will get that third stitch and then we'll go to the other really cute little beads. And I want you to look in your stash and see what kind of beads you have that would be good for this. The smaller, the better in proportion. Don't get really huge crystals and really big um, charms. They're just not going to look all that good in proportion. You don't want to overwhelm your piece. We're working in miniature here, as we all know and love, because this stuff really is a labor of love. Okay. Don't want to pull this thread out so it doesn't hang there. There. Okay, so you're getting this effect here. It's not as smooth as I've done on others, and I'm not quite sure why. It might be that it has to be done every other stitch. But this is enough. I can show you the next step. Now, I'm not actually going to bead these because it's going to take too long here. But okay, so here you have your piece, and you've decided, you like the color scheme on this, but you don't want to put it on a pen, and you want to put it in a little frame. So we're talking maybe a frame like maybe this is kind of big, but this gives you the idea, see, of what you can work with as far as how long you can make the bead strip down from the bottom. So I'll put that aside. And now we're going to play. I went and took so much out of my stock. I looked at a lot of different elements and sizes and textures I could use with this in harmony with all of the colors I have. Now, I've got some daggers, and I bought these at the Santa Monica Gem and Jewelry Show ages ago. And they're this interesting striped effect. They've got this two tone going on, the yellow and the orange, but it's predominantly orange. So that orange, and there's even a hint of brown in there, is going to go well with this, as you can tell. So I'm going to cut a couple of these off. Well, I'll cut one off. And then I'll show you where the placement is going to be. The placement is going to be like there. Let me tuck this thread under so or over. So these are daggers, and you can kind of see the proportion. They're pretty small. Here's a bobbin in comparison, and those are pretty tiny when you see that. And you could do a row like this. And you could put them on there, and that would be really pretty. It really would. But you don't have to stop there. There's a great embroidery book that I have that taught me Pico Edge, and I learned it while my mother-in-law was in the hospital, actually. And I was sitting in the cafeteria, and she was in and testing, and my husband's waiting in a room, and I went down to something to eat, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to sit down and learn something new. So there you go. Now, there's other shapes that we can use, and there's kind of a coppery color going on in here with the body. And of course, copper is complementary to orange, which is why I chose it. And when you're pulling all of this different stock out of your supplies in preparation for this, you want to think about the color scheme and what's complementary, what is in your supplies, what is in the pattern, and just kind of what would go. Now, these beads, they're kind of dime shaped, and the hole, where's my thread? I'll show you how the hole runs. It runs so it goes like that. Okay, so they hang like this. So you probably want to put them so that they hang kind of like that. So you could do a row of those as opposed to these daggers. And you don't have to put them every one because they would just bunch up. And you want to hang it at the end of these little tiny picot beads here. Or you want to stitch it underneath or behind it. And you could just do a very simple, kind of a three, like a triad there, and hang them down. And you could do an edge of the orange beads right along here, and then hang these from it. These I got a local bead store that sadly is gone. It used to be called San Gabriel Bead Company, and I loved it. It was just the best place ever. Um, Now there's a lot of colors you could play with and a lot of textures. Now, since this is an aquatic piece, it has its associations with the ocean. I got some freshwater pearls. I'm going to kind of pull these up close so you can see. I'm sorry if it's blurry. It's hard to tell what the line is without my glasses. And these are drilled straight through. Let me get the needle again and I'll show you. They're not tip to tip. They're kind of through the side like that. So you're going to want to keep that in mind when you place them. And these are like this gorgeous iridescent, like abalone color that I remember when I was collecting them as a kid along San Francisco Bay. And so you can do that. But you always want to start out decorating this edge, this plain edge here. And even if you just, instead of doing the picot, if you do just a line of straight, small beads, and you don't have to go as small as 15, but it's good because the beads that are used along an edge in any piece are typically smaller than the ones you use in the piece itself. And since these are 11s, 15 is the next size down. So you want to go smaller. Yeah, and you can just do that. There's other little cute little beads here that are drilled in different directions. I'll show you this one. This is a teardrop. Let's see. I'm going to get my glasses on so I can actually see if I have this in focus. Tiny, tiny teardrop. And these are beautiful, and they come in different sizes and a zillion colors. Okay. And that's how they hang, is like that. And so you could put your teardrop right there, like that. And that would be so pretty. Seriously, would be really pretty. Um, Now, sometimes you can go big if you're sparing with the daggers. And I have some here, and I totally fell in love with these, but these are a normal size dagger, and I'll show you their proportion compared to these tiny daggers. Okay, these are big. See these here? And your tiny ones are just kind of like babies, like right next to it. And you can put a couple of these in. I'm not saying you don't have to, absolutely do not. But you could put a couple of these. Let's get a third one there. I love doing threes because I'm pagan and we love threes. What can I tell you? Let me get one more. It's not on a thread. And put it right here. And you could go nuts. I mean, you could put the smaller daggers in between. Right there. You could put your little tiny teardrops like that. Or you could put the freshwater pearls right up against, like that. That's pretty. I might actually do something like that. I think that's neat. So there's one more thing I wanted to show, and I found this at the last minute. It was pretty exciting to me. How many minutes have we gone so far? Oh, we've gone a half hour. Yeah, I don't want to make this too long, but I will show you this one last thing because my generation just loves this stuff. And yeah, I'm in the 50s. I'm 58. So you're going to look at these and go, oh, that's so old, Christine. You got these in the 80s, right? Yeah, I did. Believe, love, magic, and hope. Now, you could take one of these. Whoa, there goes a camera. Sorry about that. No, it wasn't an earthquake, even though we're in California. And you could just hang one of these off the edge like that. You could put it in the center, which is actually really pretty. Let me move this more shot here. There you go. Like that. And I like that. I might end up doing that. And there's a hole right here to attach it. I would need to attach it with another thread, maybe transparent thread, so it wouldn't show as much, like loop it around the end of the E here and tack it into the piece. Now, this frame that I got is a regular frame, and of course, it's designed to put paper in between. It isn't for three-dimensional pieces. So the best thing to do with this is to get a mat, and you put it on the inside, and it gives some depth and thickness, so it won't crush your piece. It'll fit correctly, and so it will lay correctly when you put it up on a wall. Okay, so that's all the ideas I had. I did actually want to kind of make this piece, but I had a little bit of trouble with the Pico stitch. So you had the idea, and that's what I was hoping for. And I can do one of those really fast videos that just speeds through me doing the stitch, and I might do that later. I tend not to like those as much because they're, let's face it, I'm at the age where it's, I don't like my pace a little slower, and that's the way I am. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to show you. I'm not going to break this string apart, but there are these little beads, and they're glass pearls from the Czech Republic. This was $4 a strand, but again, we're talking like 10 years ago. But considering how many you get, there's probably 50 on this strand, at least. Okay, still not too bad. And you could string these off of the edge. You could even string them like that if you wanted along the edge. But go with a contrasting color. Go with an orange, a bright green, or a brown. There's no hard and fast rule to what color is right. It's all subjective. It's all how you want it to look. And let me just put this here to leave as a parting thought. Are there any questions from the four people that are watching right now? You can go ahead and type it in the comments. I'll wait a minute. And if I don't hear anything, then I'm going to go ahead and sign off. But yeah, if anyone has suggestions or questions, this is a great time to do this now. Do you want to know where to find these kind of supplies? Do you want to know when do you decide what colors to use? Any question at all? Anyone out there? Okay. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope to do more of these videos in the future. Um, please visit my store where I have this design in a pattern, and it's pretty inexpensive. It's $3.50. And if you run into a snag with this design, I am more than happy to help you out. Just message me through Etsy. If you remember Peyote Stitch Patterns, then I do run sales, usually on Sundays, which I call Sunbug Sundays, because dragonflies are known as sunbugs. And for the moon, because I have a lot of lunar patterns and I love the moon. We also have kind of Moonlit Madness Mondays, where I knock down some prices on all my lunar stitches, my lunar pieces, my lunar patterns. And if there's a pattern that you want to see or something you want me to cover in a future video, please let me know. Thank you very much. Namaste. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.